Ladies and gentlemen, he is truly a man of the people, for he cares and he loves and he has the interests of the people at heart. Friends, join me in welcoming to the podium our candidate and the next parliamentary representative in Christchurch East, Wilfred Abrahams.
We voting for the red, right now things dread. We voting for the red. Bears open your eyes and hold out your head. Right now things dread. We voting for the red, right now things dread. We voting for the red, right now things dread. We voting for the red. Things getting hard, hurt in my head. We need a change. Let us don't take it no more. We need a change.
Good night, good night, good night to all my Christchurch family. I'm not hearing you out there. Good night, good night, good night. It is interesting that Rudy said Chinua Achebe, a man of the people, reminded him of me. I actually remember reading one of Chinua Achebe's books. It was called The Arrow of God. And there's a quote in there that reminds me of my opponent. It was when he said that somebody's efforts were like a puny dog trying to out a fire with his fart. Go read the book. You will see where it refers to my opponent. People, I say this every time I get on the platform. I'm keeping it clean. Our campaign so far has been clean, clean, clean. We in Christchurch East, well, at least we on the BLP side, do not defame anybody. We're not coming out here to speak scandal, slander, or untruths. Everything you hear up here from me is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So if at any point in time you hear something that may to you sound scandalous, it is the truth. But it is the truth about a scandalous person or a scandalous situation. Everybody got it? All right. So I will not retaliate for all the lies that were told about me on the platform in Silver Sands last Saturday. I am not going to retaliate for the supporter of Dennis Lowe, who threatened to kill me on Tuesday. I am not going to retaliate for that because I came up in a Christian household. I have on the armor of God, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. My opponent has found himself in the paper recently saying a lot of foolishness. Last week, he said that there's no battle in Christchurch East. And then he turned around and said that he is eager and anxious for the battle ahead. And he said he's going to send up a flare to let people know that the enemy is near. And his supporters are going to come out in their numbers and neutralize me. What the fella does not know, you don't send up a flare to advise that the enemy is near. You send up a flare when you are lost. You send up a flare when you are in distress. So Dennis Lowe, before you come looking for me, go out there and find yourself. And when you find yourself, do the people of Christchurch East a favor, get lost again. The other thing he has to say, he doesn't realize every time he goes in the press, he talks nonsense. You all saw today's paper. Lowe talks tough on platform. The king of Christchurch East has sounded a warning to his challenger. And his quote was, "I am the king of this town. No one is going to come to my town and take it over." The difference between me and the fella is that he has obviously come to rule, whereas I have come to serve. So he needs to take his crown, get on his horse, and ride out of Dodge. Look, I am here asking for your vote. If I'm asking for your vote, it is necessary for you to know exactly who is asking for your vote. I am 40 years old. Somebody get a man a pair of glasses. That is not difficult. I am 40 years old. I've been a lawyer for 16 years. I'm also involved in business. I cut hair since I was 13 years old and put myself through university cutting hair. I was an altar boy at St. Christopher's Church. Actually, what a lot of y'all might not know is that had I not become a lawyer, I probably would have become a priest. I grew up in Enterprise, right across there. Spent my summers writing all about this constituency. I am one of you. I don't know what Frundell has against young people and young successful people with that stupid quote that he also had in the paper, calling me puffed up, calling me forced rape. How can you be forced rape at 40 years old? David Thompson went into Parliament at 27. What do they have against young people who are successful? But that was me in a nutshell. So now all of you here know who I am. Now what do you know about the other fella? Did you know what he did before politics? I don't know. Do you? Do you even know whether he has a doctorate? Do you know what he's going to do after politics? Well, he needs to think about that really, really quickly, because that's a decision he's going to have to face on the 21st of February 2013. I don't know what he's going to be doing on the 22nd of February. I know what I am going to be doing. I am going to be starting my full-time job as your representative in Christchurch East. Law is a representative vacuum. You all know, everybody knows what a merry-go-round looks like. You know, in the horror movies, you always see the merry-go-round going around, and there's this one horse that ain't got nobody on it, and it looks lonely, and you know that the child fall off that horse and kill himself or something. Okay, that horse used to have Law on it. But in this merry-go-round, Law is the lonely horse with no rider. I control the merry-go-round. I have stopped the merry-go-round. Law, the other kids don't want to play with you. Get off the merry-go-round and go home. I believe in proper representation. I believe that your representative should represent you from day one until the day he leaves office. For any of you who are here from Christchurch East in this audience, what has happened in the last 5 years to make your life any better? This is a diverse constituency. Christchurch East needs someone who can identify problems and solve them. As Owen Arthur likes to say, face it and fix it. But to solve problems, you actually need to know what the problems are. And to know what the problems are, you need to get into your constituency and talk to the constituents. A very interesting thing happened last week, Saturday. I went into Silver Sands and I sat down on the block. And I asked some of the fellas in the block, what do you all really want? What do you all really want? There were 10 fellas. And to a man, everybody said a job, a government job. I said, okay, think past the government job. What do you really want out of life? What are your dreams? At which point the answers began to change. One fella said he eventually wanted to own his own fishing boat. A next fella said he wanted to be an architect. And a third fella said that he wanted to get a house and to be able to take care of his mother. Now, the DLP has written off the youth on the block. The DLP has written off a certain segment of this entire country. And they believe that people are going to take a government job and shut up. And that is how you keep people dependent and you keep people in control. You encourage them to do no better than to aim at the absolute bottom. But it's not about that. Everybody in Barbados has a dream. People want to do better. I want to do better. I am sure most of you want to do better. And you want your children to do better. We need to invest in the people in our country and in our constituency. If I ask you for a vote, I must be willing to invest in you. And that investment requires people who can think differently. If we look around the constituency, the whole constituency is overgrown. The answer for Law and Company is to put a whole set of people from NCC or flood NCC and sanitation and drainage with people that they're not paying and send them out to cut bush. Why can we not approach it a different way? At one point in time, Christchurch was the envy of Barbados. We have an airport, shopping centers, hotels. We got the most beautiful beaches. We have Oistins, the fishing capital of Barbados. Why is it that we cannot look at the land that is being wasted and run into bush, and a government instead says, you know what, let me invest in you all. Let us create incentives for farmers to go back into farming. Let us create incentives for young people to go into farming. Let us take the issue of predial larceny seriously. Let us look at the whole problem and find practical solutions. Why is it that the DLP does not encourage young people to become entrepreneurs? The BLP does. We want you to work for yourself. If you read that manifesto, that most comprehensive document that was passed out yesterday, and everybody's asking me for a copy. In those pages, you will see our decision to invest in the people of Barbados. This is not a new thing. The BLP government wants to look after you. It wants to help you to look after yourself. We want to put money back in your pockets. We want to invest in the fishermen in Silver Sands. We want to make it easier for people to have access for funding so that they can equip their boats with GPS, so that they can fix all of those boats that are piled up in Silver Sands that people don't have the money to put the boats back into the water. Our fishing industry is dying, and the DLP has not looked back on it. They have not spit on you in the last 5 years. We have to say enough is enough. But it is not just the fishermen. It is not just the young people. Just up the road, we have a golf course, and we have the middle class people up there. But they need representation too. Why is it that the DLP has raped the middle class of Barbados? Why is it that they make you want to be ashamed to be middle class? There is nothing to be ashamed about. If you have worked hard and you have achieved, you should be proud. You should look around and try to bring somebody else with you. It does not help anyone when the whole machinery of government aims to keep people down, keep them dependent so that they can buy your vote. For people who can hear me, some of you in the audience, you've not gotten a raise in pay since 2008. But the cost of living has gone up by 30%. And that is effectively a 23.1 reduction in your salary. This is what the DLP government has done for you. The Barbados Labour Party said, we will give you back your allowances. We will ease you on land tax. We will, for those of you who want to use private medical care, We will give you a tax incentive for that. Write off some of it. For those who want to send their children to private school, write off some of that. These are the thoughts that the BLP government has given you, because we intend to put money back into your pockets. And you know what that... Sorry. Mom, I caught myself just in time. Our Prime Minister... Sorry, I apologize again. Not my Prime Minister. Because my Prime Minister is Owen Arthur. Winner's Prime Minister got on a platform in Silver Sands and said the BLP is talking about putting money back in your pockets. Y'all don't need the BLP to put money back in your pockets. If you want money back in your pockets, you can go to a drug dealer. If I lie, I die. That has to be the most stupid statement ever made by Prime Minister in Barbados. For that alone, friend, that you deserve to lose. Barbados 2013 is not Barbados 2008. We need people. We need a government who can think in terms of the now and in terms of the future. The DLP government cannot do it. That manifesto that you all got, that everybody's clamoring for, don't just collect it, open it, and read it. There is so much in there. So much. And that is our promise to you. We're not just criticizing. We're not standing up on platforms slamming people. We are giving you solutions. We are saying this is what we plan to do. Open the manifesto and read it. You know, the fact is, I can talk about national issues. But the reality of it is that I am trying to win a seat cross there. So I need to talk about my fella. Listen, if you see my girlfriend, right? If you see my girlfriend, if Lo was a woman as ugly as he is a man, I would not even look at him. Her. Proper representation is representation from day one to day end. It is ridiculous for your representative to be sleeping or absent or missing or neglectful for 4 years and 9 months and then come begging for a second chance. As I said, anything I tell you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Everything I talk about, I have the proof. What kind of representative writes a letter? Zoom in on this letter, please. What kind of representative writes a letter to thousands of people in his constituency, apologizing for having done nothing, and yet having the testicular fortitude to ask for another chance? I'm going to read it. September 3rd, 2012. Dear Sir/Madam, greetings to you and your family. I hope this correspondence finds you in the best of health and remaining hopeful for the continual blessings of God. The purpose of this letter is to let you know that while I have not been able to assist you with your requests, I continue to try very hard to help you. As you know, things are very difficult for many across the world as well as here at home in Barbados. I wanted you to know I have not forgotten you, and I do regret I have not been able to assist. Please rest assured I will continue to try my best. I urge you to continue to keep the faith and do not give up, for great things always happen to those who wait. God bless you all. Respectfully, Dr. Dennis Lowe. This is the biggest bunch of nonsense that I have ever seen committed to paper. For writing this letter alone, he should have been fired. This is the confession of a guilty man. This is the confession of a man guilty of neglect. This is the confession that he did nothing for 4 years and 9 months and apologized to 2,000 of you. And yet, some people want him back. Christchurch East, it is about focusing. Recently, the government has been blaming a lot on the global economic situation. That is another bunch of nonsense. You saw the ad that we've been running for the last 2 days, saying if it was solely as a result of the global situation, then Barbados would not have been passed out by 187 countries. That we've been passed out by 187 countries is not global economic nothing. That is mismanagement and neglect. A lot of you may not know that the second biggest money earner in Barbados was not sugar. Behind tourism was the offshore sector. International businesses in Barbados. In 2008, we were raking in, I think it was about $370 million a year in tax. In 2008, the international regulatory bodies to cut down on money laundering warned all of the countries you had to implement certain things into your legislation. They gave all the countries 2 years to do it. We knew we had 2 years to do it. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. They gave you the wording. Barbados did it on the very last day before it was blacklisted. The very, very last day. By that time, half of the businesses had left and gone to St. Lucia or Bermuda, which had done theirs. Last year, we collected $240 million in tax revenue from this sector. We are losing $140 million a year. That is not the global economic situation. That is mismanagement and neglect. Frondell, come clean. Your draft estimates are prepared. You know that your government committed itself to reducing the governmental expenditure by $75 million a year starting last year. And you didn't do it because it was an election year. So in the estimates for this year, we have to cut $150 million. Now understand, $150 million that the government has to cut is pretty much the same amount of money that it lost through the offshore business sector. Do the maths. Do the maths. Why is it that at this stage in the election campaign, the government has not said to you that this has to happen? They have not come clean. All them jobs they give away in NCC, all those jobs they give away in drainage, where they're promising to pay people in the next financial year, let them tell you where the money coming from. For all of you who took those jobs, I commend you. Go and take the job. Somebody give you a job, take the job. But understand, in my definition, or as a lawyer representing people who work for other people, employment has a certain definition. Employment means that I work and you pay me. If work is happening and no pay is happening, that is slavery. And Lo happy all the time to quote the Bible. He's happy to quote the Bible. But I could quote the Bible too. Actually, I see the light, so let me bypass the Bible quote. A true representative should be able to hold his head high. A true representative should be able to represent everybody. So when your representative walks through the constituency, he must be able to represent the wealthy. He must be able to represent the poor. He must be able to represent the single mother. When he cannot represent the single mother because he has at least 5 actions out against him for child maintenance, different mothers and different children. Lo, if I am telling a lie, sue me. I don't know what the age is. I don't know what the age is. But how can you go and look a single mother who's coming to you for help in the eye when you don't even support your children? Is this the man you all want in Christchurch East? And Lo got on the platform. I see the light. Just give me 2 minutes. Lo got on the platform the other day and he cried. And he cried. You all know about that? When I was a child and I cried for no reason, my mother would tell me, oh, you're crying? I can give you something to cry for. So, Lord, don't cry for yourself. Cry for the 2,000 people you had to send jobs to, send letters to. Cry for Rosemary Jones, whose house burned down, that you promised a house to, and she ain't get it yet. Cry for the fire victim in Ferry Valley that you went to his house and watched the house burn down, and you ain't look back at that man to offer help yet. Cry for the mothers of the children that you don't support. Cry for the people that you give jobs to and you can't pay them. And don't dehydrate yourself. Save some of the tears, because you can need some of them same tears on February 21st when you're crying because you're unemployed. The definition of madness is to do the same thing over and over and hope for a different result. You tried the DLP last time. Are you going to try them again? Do you really believe the DLP is capable of doing better? Can Barbados take 5 more years of the same? Do you want better for yourself? Do you want better for your children and your family? Do you want better for Barbados? Do you want a better tomorrow? On February 21st, 2013, go out and vote for respect for our women. Vote for jobs for those who are willing to work. Vote to put money back in your pocket. Vote for a better tomorrow. Vote for Wilfred Abrahams and the Barbados Labour Party. On 21st February 2013, go out in your numbers and vote them out. Vote them out.
Right,
vote them out.
Good
night. God bless you all.
Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Right now things dread, we voting for the red. Bears open your eyes.